Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, a lot of people have some fear and or belief that we are facing the collapse of American society or society in general, especially if the economy collapses. Economic collapse does not mean social collapse. The American economy has collapsed before in the Depression. Um, we suffered some level of collapse in 2008, 2009. Greece went through much worse, and they had a lot of social unrest and protests and riots, etc. A lot of countries have had economic collapse, but the society remained intact. But if our entire economy collapsed as it stands, the majority of people, especially today, have a drive to produce and cooperate. This is logical thinking. The drive or belief in surviving through sheer aggression and pillaging is only present in a minority of people. These are people that just watch too many movies and rely on aggression in their everyday lives to begin with. Throughout history, there have been small groups or cultures which attempted to survive through aggression and pillaging. However, even the Vikings did far more trading than raiding. In truth, they were masters of agriculture and produced more than enough for survival, which enabled them to conduct this trade. And then they were very good at trade. Organized cultures throughout history have always joined forces to fight against and overthrow more militaristic influences. Pillaging, theft, and scavenging can only take you so far. The great generals and so forth that we look at in history that conquered different countries and so forth, well, they didn't just destroy everything and steal everything in the process. They took over the governments of the lands. Look at Alexander the Great and Napoleon Bonaparte and etc. They instead enabled trade. Sometimes that it was unfair trade, but they still largely kept the societies intact. So it wasn't all about destroying things and stealing. A lot of people believe that tax is theft, but I'm not against paying taxes. I'm just against how my taxes are spent. All right. Now, think about who the pillaging societies were pillaging from. That would be from the much larger, more peaceful societies that were cooperative and productive. Yes, society as we currently know it could fall apart, but would quickly reorganize. Society can be fragmented, it can be segregated, but and it can be changed, but not destroyed. We would still have a society or multiple societies. The majority of people want safety, order, cooperation, and peace. That does not negate competition at various levels, but most competition occurs via sports, trading, business, etc. Most of us also understand that we produce quite enough to survive, and resources for survival are not truly limited or scarce. Capitalism tries to convince us of scarcity, yet anyone in poverty can see grocery stores, restaurants, and so forth filled with food and supplies. That's not scarcity. It is not a lack of resources for survival which is scarce. It is access to the means of gaining those resources, in other words, money, which is hoarded by a select few and guarded by others who fear being in the same position. Does a cashier or security guard have any personal stake in an incident where someone steals a loaf of bread? Not really. Their concern is in whether they can be fired for not stopping the thief, which would leave them unemployed and in the same position as the thief. Most of us object strenuously when the response to that theft is physical abuse or an extraordinarily long period of incarceration for that offense, which was brought about by hunger. One has to consider the fact that human history far predates capitalism and currency. There are many small societies that still exist without a formal currency. Those societies are structured, generally peaceful, and productive. They engage in trade and mostly barter and cooperation with other small societies that are also peaceful and productive. Those small societies have often existed for centuries or millennia. I've stated before that money does not exist in nature. It is a fabrication which was created for convenience in trade. It is supposed to be a representation of possession of other resources. It was not created to be a resource in and of itself, yet that is what it has turned into over time. The fact is that most of us would be more than willing to surrender the existence of currency as long as we felt secure that our physical and emotional needs would be met consistently. And this is where capitalism comes in to manipulate your perception of need. There are things that we enjoy and things that we need. Yes, we need food, clothing, medical care, and shelter. Do you really need that $400 pair of boots or high heels? Do your teeth and shirts need to be that white? Do you need that boat or ATV? Do you need that Bluetooth connection in your car? Do you need that latest $1,000 cell phone? Our perception of need is determined very much by our environment and what resources we can access. We all enjoy luxuries of some kind. That's natural. However, capitalism has expanded our perception to the degree that luxury has displaced need for many people. We don't need gold-plated toilets and faucets. We don't need a second home. We don't need 20 more rooms in our house than we occupy. Unless we are farmers, ranchers, or something of the like, we don't need 50 acres of land. Yeah. So, we don't need expensive jewelry. We don't need so many things that are considered needs and which our society has come to worship as a sign of success, when really, most often, it's a sign of oppression. When that person that we, idolize has reached their position by walking on other people, by the labor and efforts of many others, why are we, when we are the ones suffering for it, why do we idolize this? It is an absolute time for us to change our own perceptions. And so, sorry about that. It is an absolute time for us to change our perceptions as to what we respect, expect. We have to be willing to share our own resources. And we have to expect these people that are idolized to share their resources. Yeah, I do not expect society to collapse. I expect major changes in the very near future, but not collapse. All right, that is going to be it for this one. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. Calm people's fears. We're in this together. So, if you can, donate. Please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. And I hope you have a good day.